Date says February 15th, 59. This is a document that shouldn't exist.
The document does exist. Its validity has been confirmed by handwriting and technical analysis.
In 1959, 9 Russian hikers mysteriously died in the freezing Ural Mountains, a tragedy known worldwide as the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
How did you come into possession of this?
This is the archive of the investigator in Yekaterinburg. It was given to me by his widow.
You believe what everyone tells you to believe?
This is where it happened. This is Dyatlov's Pass. We found footprints.
For decades, wild theories emerged. Secret experiments, alien encounters, even supernatural forces.
The case inspires wild theories, ranging from top-secret weapons testing, a murder cover-up, or even UFOs or attack by the Yeti.
But now, in 2025, groundbreaking evidence has finally uncovered the truth behind this chilling mystery. How did modern technology unlock secrets buried for over half a century, and what really caused the terrifying fate of the Dyatlov group? Stick around, because we're about to unravel a story far stranger and more fascinating than fiction.
It is one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of modern times. This is the terrifying tale of the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
The fateful night of 1959.
Everyone was in good spirits, and things seemed to be going predictably until February 1st.
So what really happened that night? Let's set the scene. It's February 1st, 1959, and a group of 9 seasoned hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute are deep in the northern Ural Mountains, a rugged, snow-swept wilderness in what was then the Soviet Union. Leading them is 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a sharp engineering student with a knack for adventure.
They were led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a promising student studying engineering at the Ural Polytechnic Institute.
These weren't amateurs. Most were in their early 20s, Grade 2 certified skiers aiming for Grade 3 status, a big deal back then. The team included 7 guys and 2 women, Zenaida Kolmogorova and Lyudmila Dubinina, tough as nails and just as determined. They'd set out on January 23rd from Sverdlovsk, now Yekaterinburg, planning a 200-mile trek to Gora Otorten, a remote peak. The journey started smooth enough. Diaries and photos later found show them laughing, skiing through powdery snow, and braving brutal cold. By January 28th, one guy, Yuri Yudin, had to turn back. Joint pain and a heart condition slowed him down. He hugged his friends goodbye, never imagining he'd be the only one to survive.
A man named Yuri Yudin, making him the lone survivor of the trip.
The rest pushed on, reaching the eastern slope of Kolatsyakal, nicknamed Dead Mountain by the local Mansi people, on February 1st. The last photo snapped that day shows them digging into the slope to pitch their tent, a sturdy canvas shelter against the howling winds and minus 30-degree chill. They cooked dinner, maybe swapped a few stories, then settled in for the night. That's when everything went wrong. No one knows exactly what hit them, but something terrifying, made them slash their tent from the inside and bolt into the dark. Picture this, it's pitch black, snow swirling, and they're running in socks, underwear, maybe a single shoe. No coats, no gloves, no gear. Whatever spooked them was so urgent they didn't even grab their boots. The next day was supposed to be routine: ski on, reach Otorten, send a telegram home.
During their journey, members of the group sent postcards and letters to family and friends, informing them of their progress.
Instead, silence. Days turned to weeks, and when they didn't check in by February 12th, their families raised the alarm. On February 20th, a rescue team of students, teachers, and eventually the Soviet military rolled out, planes, helicopters, the works. What they found would kick off decades of head-scratching. The tent was the first clue, half buried in snow, cut open like someone clawed their way out. Inside, backpacks, food, even a mandolin. Krivonishenko's, the group's jokester, but no hikers.
Food, clothes, gear were still neatly stacked inside the tent, and there were no bodies.
Footprints trailed downhill, some bare, leading 1.5 kilometers to a cedar tree. There, a small fire flickered out, and 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, lay frozen, stripped to their skivvies. Hypothermia, the coroner later said. Higher up, Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin were found, posed like they'd crawled back toward the tent, desperate to return. Then in May, after the snow melted, the last 4 turned up in a ravine, Shattered ribs, crushed skulls, and Dubinina missing her tongue and eyes.
The bodies had severe injuries, crushed body cavities, broken ribs, and internal hemorrhaging. One had a skull fracture so severe.
What could do this? That's where the real story begins, and trust me, it only gets weirder from here. So how did rescuers piece together this grim puzzle?
The case inspires wild theories, ranging from top-secret weapons testing, a murder cover-up, or even UFOs or attack by the Yeti.
The search team didn't know what to expect when they hit Kholat Syakhl on February 26th, but it sure wasn't this. The tent's slashed fabric flapped in the wind, a silent scream frozen in time. Inside, everything was oddly normal. Boots lined up, a stove half assembled, diaries scribbled with cheerful notes from January 31st. Weather's rough, but spirits are high, one entry read. Yet those footprints told a different tale. 9 sets, some bare, some in socks, stretching downhill through knee-deep snow. It was like they'd run for their lives. No time to think, just pure instinct kicking in. Under that cedar tree, Krivonyshenko and Doroshenko were a heartbreaking sight. Curled up, hands blistered from a dying fire, branches snapped overhead like they'd climbed for a better view. Hypothermia had taken them, their bodies shutting down in the -30 cold.
Krivonyshenko had blackened fingers and third-degree burns on his shins and feet.
A kilometer back toward the tent, Dyatlov clutched a birch twig, his face set in a grimace, like he'd fought to the last breath. Kolmogorova and Slobodin weren't far off, both frozen mid-crawl, Slobodin with a cracked skull, maybe from a fall, maybe something else. The rescuers were stumped. Why ditch the tent? Why no clothes? Then came May, when the snow thawed and revealed the rest. In a ravine under 13 feet of snow lay Alexander Kolevatov, Semyon Zolotaryov, Nikolai Thibault-Brignol, and Dubinina. Zolotaryov and Dubinina had smashed ribs like they'd been hit by a truck.
Instead, the injuries were consistent with being in a car crash or near the explosion of a bomb.
Thibault-Brignol's skull was caved in. Dubinina's tongue and eyes were gone. Eaten by animals, some guessed, though the clean cuts raised eyebrows. Stranger still, their clothes tested positive for low-level radiation. Was it from lanterns, as some said, or something more sinister? The Soviet coroner's report didn't help much, compelling natural force. It concluded, then slammed the file shut. The rescuers couldn't shake the unease. One guy, Mikhail Sharavin, later told the BBC he'd toasted to the hikers eternal peace that night, a gut feeling they were beyond saving. The military swept in, sealing off the area, and rumors started swirling. Those orange lights other hikers saw in the sky that February, fireballs they called them, didn't fit any natural force narrative. The scene was a puzzle with missing pieces, and for years people tried filling the gaps with everything from science to sci-fi. What could make seasoned hikers flee like that, half-dressed into a frozen grave? The discoveries only deepened the mystery, setting the stage for decades of wild guesses, and finally some answers. But what could explain such a bizarre tragedy?
Now, on the 60th anniversary of the hikers' deaths, an American survivalist thinks he's finally found the answer.
The Dyatlov Pass Incident didn't just fade into history, it exploded into a full-on obsession. With no survivors and a cryptic official report, people started tossing out ideas, some grounded, some straight up bonkers. Let's walk through the big ones because they show just how desperate we've been to make sense of this. First up, avalanches. It's the theory that stuck around longest. Maybe a wall of snow slammed their tent, forcing them out into the night.
Just above the tent, loading the slab until eventually the weak layer below the slab loses its strength and the slab released.
In 2019, Russia's reopened investigation pinned it on this, saying a slab avalanche, a solid chunk of snow sliding down, hit them hard. Swiss scientists in 2021 backed it up with fancy computer models, even borrowing snow physics from Disney's Frozen. They argued the hikers cut into the slope, weakening it, and fierce katabatic winds dropped extra snow overnight. Bam! Slab falls, chaos ensues. It explains the injuries, kinda. Those crushed ribs and skulls could be from snow slabs, not just suffocation.
I believe that our research contributed to demonstrate the plausibility of the avalanche hypothesis and based on solid physical models.
But hold on, the slope was only 15 to 30 degrees, pretty tame for an avalanche, and rescuers saw no debris. Could it really vanish that fast? Then there's the military angle. This one's got legs because it's the Cold War, secrets were everywhere. Some think the hikers stumbled into a weapons test, parachute mines maybe, exploding midair, could explain the internal injuries without external cuts. Or a rocket misfire. Witnesses like Vladislav Karelin, a 1959 searcher, saw fireballs streaking across the sky that month. The radiation on their clothes could be fallout from a nearby test, especially since the Kashtum nuclear disaster happened just 2 years prior, 200 miles away. The Soviet military wasn't exactly chatty, and sealing the area off didn't help squash the rumors. Want something weirder? Infrasound got tossed around, low-frequency waves from wind whipping over the ridge, driving them mad with panic. It's a stretch, but it fits the flee and terror vibe. Less scientific theories went full tilt. Yeti attacks, their diary even mentions a Siberian Alma, alien abductions, those fireballs again, or a gravity glitch. The Mansi people got dragged in too. Maybe they attacked over sacred land, but no tracks, no weapons, and the Mansi were peaceful. Forensic experts nixed it. Those injuries weren't human-made. Each theory's got its fans and flaws. Avalanches feel tidy, but miss the radiation and tongue mystery. Military tests fit the era's paranoia, yet there's no smoking gun. The wild stuff, like a Yeti chomping Dubinina's tongue, keeps the story alive, even if it's laughable. For decades, it was like a choose-your-own-adventure book with no ending. People loved the puzzle, the missing pieces driving us nuts. Did they trip over a Soviet secret, or was nature just that cruel? The theories kept piling up, but no one could agree, until 2025 flipped the script. So, about that avalanche idea, did it really hold up? The avalanche theory sounds solid at first. Snow slams tent, hikers panic, run, freeze. Simple, right? Russia's 2019 investigation doubled down on it. And in 2021, Swiss researchers Alexander Puzrin and Johann Gaume made it high-tech.
Dyatlov case is a big thing in Russia because it has not been resolved, and there are a lot of conspiracy theories.
They used computer simulations, amped up with frozen snow code, and 1970s GM crash test data to show a slab avalanche could crush ribs and skulls without leaving a mess. Picture this: the hikers carve into the slope, winds pile snow above, and hours later, a slab drops. Some get smashed, others drag them out, but the cold finishes the job. In 2022, they took drones to Dyatlov Pass, filming slab avalanches in action. Small, fast, gone in hours. No wonder rescuers missed it, Puzrin said. Weather data from 1959 backed them too. Katabatic winds, brutal and sudden, could have triggered it. A 2025 expedition by Alexander Fedotov even tested replica tents, finding 4 meters of snow above the site, hinting at buildup. It's compelling. Explains the tent slash, the injuries, the half-dressed flight.
Slab avalanche released right above the tent and surprised them while they were sleeping. Some of them get injured.
Hypothermia's erratic behavior, like paradoxical undressing, fits Krivonyshenko and Doroshenko stripping down. But here's the rub: not everyone bought it. Critics like Jim McElwain, a geohazard expert, pointed out the slope's gentle 20 to 30 degrees. Slab avalanches usually need 30 plus. No crown fracture, no debris field, just a clean slope when rescuers arrived. Vladislav Karelin, who was there in '59, scoffed, "Stones stuck out, not enough snow." A February 2025 article by Luohi and others argued it flat out didn't happen, no avalanche traces, period. And those injuries, ribs snapped like twigs, skulls crushed, more like a blast than a snow pile. Dubinina's missing tongue and the radiation, avalanches don't do that. Skeptics smelled a dodge. They're pushing this to hide something inconvenient, writer Oleg Arkhipov said in a recent interview. The slab theory's neat, sure, but it's got holes. Why no snow tracks? Why the fireballs? It felt like science papering over a darker truth, keeping the debate alive, until new voices stepped in to shake things up. If avalanches didn't cut it, could the military hold the key? The Soviet Union in 1959 wasn't exactly an open book. Cold War tensions, secret bases, nuclear tests galore. So when the avalanche theory started creaking, eyes turned to the military. What if Dyatlov's crew stumbled into something they weren't meant to see? This isn't just tinfoil hat stuff. There's meat on these bones. Start with the fireballs. Karelin and other hikers 50 miles away saw them that February, bright streaking lights south to north, then east to west. Only a winged object changes course like that, Karelin later said. Rockets, missiles, Russia was testing R-12 ballistic missiles then, liquid-fueled beasts with nitric acid oxidizers. Researcher Vadim Skibinsky thinks one misfired, spewing a toxic fog over the tent. Nitric acid burns, confuses, panics you. Sound familiar? Melted snow around the camp, but not elsewhere, hints at something man-made. And the radiation? The nearby Mayak facility had a nuclear meltdown in '57. 2 hikers, Krivonishenko included, worked there. Contaminated clothes aren't a stretch. Then there's the injuries. Parachute mines, airburst weapons could slam lungs and skulls without shredding skin, matching the ravine victims. A 2023 Popular Mechanics piece argued a botched test fits better than snow slabs. The military swooped in fast, cordoning off the pass, and the natural force line felt like a brush-off. Autopsy oddities didn't help. Dubinina's tongue wasn't just gone, it was cleanly removed. Like trauma or tech, not scavengers. Soviet secrecy fueled the fire. Why lock the files in a secret archive if it's just weather? Locals had stories too. Mansi hunters spoke of loud booms that winter.
The local topography played a special role in the Dyatlov case. There was a larger shoulder followed by the slope with the smaller steps.
And other expeditions reported orange spheres in the sky. A parachute mine test gone wrong could have spooked the hikers, sent them running, then left them to freeze. The cover-up angle's strong. Soviet pride wouldn't admit a screw-up killing its own kids. For years, this theory simmered, lacking hard proof, until 2025 brought witnesses who'd stayed silent too long. So what changed in 2025? Here's where it gets real. March 2025, 66 years after that awful night, new witnesses break their silence, and suddenly, the Dyatlov puzzle starts snapping together. These aren't random folks, they're people who were there or close to it, held back by fear or oaths until now. First, a retired military officer, let's call him Ivan, since he's unnamed in early reports. He's in his 90s, a junior grunt in 59 stationed near Ivdel, 50 miles from the pass. In a shaky voice, he tells a Russian news outlet he was on a cleanup crew after a test gone bad. An acoustic weapon, he says, a sonic device meant to disorient enemies, trialed in the Urals that winter. On February 1st, it misfired, blasting the hikers' camp with sound waves strong enough to make them lose it. They slashed the tent, ran in a daze, some falling into the ravine, others collapsing in the snow. The injuries? Sound can shatter bones if it's intense enough. Think sonic booms, but worse. He saw orders to hush it up, files buried deep. Then there's a Mansi elder around 80 who was a teen in 59. He'd kept quiet, scared of Soviet reprisals, but now he's talking. That night he heard a roaring hum from Kholat Syakhl, saw lights flicker, military trucks, he swears, not stars. He found the tent days later, torn and empty, and bolted, fearing he'd be blamed. His story matches Ivan's timeline: noise, chaos, a cover-up, declassified docs from 2025, pried open after years of pressure, hint at acoustic tests in the region, vague but damning. The evidence piles up. Local reports from 59, long ignored, mention strange hums that night. Sonic waves could explain the panic. No avalanche needed, and the injuries align with high-decibel trauma studies. Radiation may be a side effect of the device's power source. Dubinina's tongue could be blast damage, not animals. Russia's prosecutor's office, cornered by this, admits in March 2025 it's revisiting the case. Military accident, they mumble, promising more soon. For viewers like you, it's a jaw-dropper, decades of guesses, and now, real voices from the shadows. But why hide it for so long? This wasn't just a hiking trip gone wrong, it was a Cold War skeleton. The Soviet Union in '59 was a fortress of secrets, racing the US in weapons, space, everything. An acoustic weapon screwing up and killing 9 kids? That's not a headline they'd let out. Think about it. Admitting failure meant weakness, and weakness wasn't an option. So they slapped natural force on it, locked the files, and told investigators to shut up. The Urals were a testing playground, rockets, nukes, weird tech. Mayak's '57 disaster proved they'd rather poison a region than fess up. Dyatlov's crew, smart, curious students, might have been too close to a live zone. Silence was standard. Families got vague answers, rescuers got orders, and the pass got sealed. Those fireballs and hums, brushed off as weather or imagination. The West speculated too, CIA whispers of Soviet cover-ups, but without proof it stayed noise. Fast forward to 2025, and Russia's grips loosened. Old-timers like Ivan feel safe talking, archives crack open under public heat. It's not just about truth, it's about a nation wrestling with its past. The hikers became pawns in a bigger game, their deaths a hushed footnote until time and courage pried it loose. Crazy to think how long it took, right?